So, long awaited road review. I've had the bike a couple of months now, I've done a few miles on it, and I've got a good idea of the bike now, and I'm really happy with it. As long as you realise that it is an adventure bike and not an off-road bike. Now, what I know I bought this bike to go off-road, and I think it will do, and in the next video we'll do a bit of green lane and a bit of off-road and see how it goes. But for today we'll just talk about the bike. But you have to realise this, it is an adventure bike, it's an all-round bike, not just an off-road bike. As KTM put it themselves, it's aimed squarely at the motorcyclists who are profoundly curious but perhaps unaccustomed to a bit of off-road riding. So it's a bit of a tease. It's a striking looking bike, it really is. And like I say, if you take it as an adventure bike, it is a very good mid-range adventure bike. As far as top speed is concerned, it'll cruise at 70 miles an hour all day, 2 up and with a bit of luggage. And it gives you a hint of how to ride this bike, because as soon as you start, the ignition comes up, ready to race. So it's a 373cc, 4 valve, double overhead cam, single cylinder, producing 44 brake horsepower at nearly 9,000 RPM. So that tells you it needs the revs high. Also the peak torque, about 36 Newton meters, is about 7,000 RPM. So again, it's quite high up the rev range. And as long as you realise that, the motor is sweet, but you do have to keep it above 5,000 RPM. So obviously it's based on the Duke road bike. It has slightly longer travel on the front and rear suspension, and I mentioned that front tyre being a 19-inch, which gives it that all-round capability. Front suspension is WP forks, which I think are KTM's own brand. They've got compression adjustment on the left fork and rebound on the right fork. Now I had the set bang on medium for both of them, but I've had to turn the rebound up because it is a bit bouncy. But turn up a couple of clicks and it's very easy to do. Sorts the front out, no problem at all. One of the changes from the road bike is the 19-inch front wheel, and that helps it just roll over off-road obstacles a little bit easier, but maintains the on-road flickability. And the Continental TKC70 tyres, although they're road biased, do look like they have decent tread for off-road. Certainly on-road they're a very good tyre. I have no complaints about them at all. Brakes are also very good. So the front's got a 320mm single disc on it with Bi-Bri brakes, which are basically a Brembo make. Very good grab on them and a very good feel on them. The rear brake is a 230mm with a single disc, and again, it's pretty good. I'm really happy with the brakes. Seat height, it's quite high, 855mm on this one. Now I do have the comfort seat on that, so it might be a little bit higher than that. I'm a 31-inch inside leg and I tiptoe. But because the bike's not very heavy, it's not a problem. And again, 158 dry weight compared to the BMW 310, which is 170 dry weight. The seat height on this, like I say, is 855mm compared to the BMW, which is 835mm, if I recall correctly. The ground clearance is only 8 inches on this, whereas the BMW GS310 is a little bit higher. We're talking, I think it's just over 8.5 inches on the BMW 3. The Honda CRF is about 11 inches, something like that. It's a lot more, but again, we're talking a proper off-road bike there. It's got a very plastic bash guard on it, which I've heard isn't very good, and I must admit it doesn't look very good. And considering it's got less than 7 inches ground clearance, I'm told off-road it could be a problem. For what I want, green lane, and I can't see it being a problem at all, so I'm just going to stick with the plastic Sump Guard. Should be fine. But again, if we look at the fact that this is an adventure bike, we look at the tank capacity, we're looking at 14.5 litres on this bike, as opposed to the BMW, which only has 11.5 litre petrol tank. And of course on the CRF, that's only got 8 litres. The economy on this is brilliant. It must be 18 miles per gallon easily. I did half a tank and that lasted about 120 miles. So full tank, you're looking at well over 200 mile, which is really good for an adventure bike, I think. Now, on my bike, you've probably noticed, I put a bit of luggage on. It came with the panniers, which I think look really, really smart, and they're very lightweight. And you can fit a fair bit in them, so I think it's good for touring all around, really. Easily fits a tank bag on, small one at that, and I've put a plate on the back for a little top box there. So it's got plenty of options for carrying luggage. The other thing that comes with the KTM is the suite of electronics. Now, the TFT dash is very, very good, and it must be a class leader at the time. Remember, this is a 2021 bike, and the settings are very easy to see on the screen, and you can do multiple settings, on-road, off-road. It's got cornering ABS, which isn't too bad at all, is it? Traction control. It's really well spec'd for a mid-range bike. So you can even connect your phone via the KTM Ride system and get turn-by-turn road directions, which again is another benefit. It comes with a Quickshifter. Now, I'm not sure that's an option, I think, but this one does have a Quickshifter. However, the Quickshifter is not brilliant, and I tend to use the clutch anyway, or no clutch as going up the gears. Right, anyway, I think we're talking enough to here. Oh, getting pretty busy here. Let's make the most of this sun and have a little ride. Well, it's a particularly nice looking day today, looking over Teesside and the works. However, it is pretty chilly. So the bike, very, very nimble and very easy to ride slow speed. Look at that. And pretty nippy. Now, as standard, it comes with a very small screen. It gives you very, very little wind protection at all, even in the highest position. You need the Allen key as well to move positions. So I bought a tall windscreen from AliExpress, and it made very little difference. Now I've added this little extra wind deflector on, and that's made quite a bit of difference. And just about feel the wind at the top of the helmet there. Bear in mind this does have a peak on as well. The suspension, the WP suspension, the upside down 43mm forks. Once I've adjusted the rebound a little bit, for the road, they are really, really good. But the brakes again, the front brake, the 320mm disc with the Bi-Bree 4-pot caliper, basically your Brembo brakes. Good instant feel on the bite, and even the rear brake on the 230mm disc and the single pot, pretty good really. Now the bike does need to be in the higher rev range as we mentioned earlier, but the corner's lovely. I'm just over 4,000 RPM now in 4th gear, and that's about the lowest you want to be. Certainly 5, yeah. Keep it above 5,000 revs, and it's a sweet motor, it really is nice. The gearbox actually is very light, the clutch is very light. Now, the adjustment on the clutch on KTMs, they're known to like almost slipping the clutch. You want very, very little free play in the cable. I know that because when I bought the bike there was a lot of free play and it was a horrible gear change. I've adjusted it now so there's very, very little free play, and it's sweet, it really is sweet. Now the Quickshifter worked okay there, from 5th down to 4th with no clutch, and up 4th to 5th at 4,000 RPM, and it wasn't too bad. But it's not consistent in that sometimes you can give it a couple of kicks and it doesn't do anything, so I tend to either time it with the throttle closing or use the clutch. The mirrors that come with the bike were actually pretty good, very good view behind, and there wasn't much vibration. Now I've put these adventure style mirrors on with the double ball joints. They're not bad, but they do suffer a bit from vibration. Now a lot of people complain about the vibration on the bike, but you got to remember it's a single cylinder machine, and I find if you keep the revs above 5,000 or above 4.5 say, it's not that bad, and even on long runs it's not that buzzy motor that people say it is, so maybe I'm lucky, I'm not sure. I guess tyres might have a lot to do with that. We'll just stay behind the lane and give it a bit of protection. Just hang back a little bit, give it some space. Switchgear is very good. It's quite simple, easy to use. The dash is very good, very clear, lots of information. And again, it's pretty simple to alter the settings on it. I do like the way it says ready to race when you turn the ignition on. Let's have a few photos before we go for a ride. Slow riding is so easy on this machine. It's ridiculously easy. Now, the gearbox is sweet, it really is lovely, very light. Do find getting neutral a bit tricky at times, but it went straight into neutral that time, so who knows there. Right, a couple of photos. Right, photos taken. It's a lovely looking bike, I'm really impressed with it. Striking in orange. So yeah, as well as the extra windscreen, I've added a few extra things. I've added a tyre pressure monitoring system, which I think is really useful for any bike and should be standard really. It came with heated grips, which is a bonus as well. And obviously I've got the quad lock adapter for the phone. It also came with engine crash bars, which I think is standard on some markets. The guy who had this one previously powder coated them orange and they don't look too bad. Now I put some little bags on just to carry my locks and visor clean and that type of thing. The Panniers came with the bike. They're quite a good capacity actually, very lightweight. Very easy to take on and off, and lockable onto the bike as well, which is good. I've put a top box rack on, which takes a givey fitting. It came with this little tank bag rig, and I happen to have a little givey bag which just fits nicely, so I've left open. That's naughty, isn't it? I think one of the best things I did was change the windscreen on it though. There's still a bit of buffeting around the shoulders even with the big windscreen on, but the air deflection is just at the very top of the helmet, so even with this peak it's not getting caught and I'm not getting blown around the place, so pretty happy with that. It's a really nice dashboard, but I've noticed on the cold mornings it does suffer from condensation. It soon burns off once the day warms up, but at the moment it's got quite a bit of condensation Even though it's a lovely looking day, it's actually pretty cold. So I'm really impressed with the 5-inch TFT display. Very clear, nice and colourful, and it displays plenty of information. Oh, it's cold. The only thing I don't like about it is when you put your indicators on, it just has an indicator symbol. It doesn't tell you if it's left or right. But at the moment I've got set up for a trip system, so I've got trip 1 mileage, a trip 1 time. It's got the date and battery voltage on this particular one and the clock. It tells you if you're in the straight mode or off-road mode. It tells you if your ABS is on or your traction control is on and what mode that's in. The rev counter is very clear and the speedometer display very clear, and it's pretty big actually, so it's well displayed. Well, the rev line actually shows 10,000 RPM. That shows what a racy engine this one is. It tells you the engine temperature and it tells you your fuel tank level as well. There's a lot of settings you can do, and to be honest, that's probably for another video. But isn't this a comfortable road position as well, a seating position? I'm not too far stretched. My knees are a little bit bent, but not too much. And even though it's a small bike, it feels pretty big on the road. And that front light, whether you like it or not, is very bright, which is good to help you be seen. That and the orange paintwork probably help a lot. So I guess the question is, am I happy with this bike? Well, to be honest, I love it. It's so much lighter than the Multistrada. The engine's a peach. As long as you keep that revs above 5,000, keep it on song, so to speak, it's great. Yeah, there's not much torque in it, and people have complained about that. I wouldn't complain about it, I would just note it, but you have to ride it as it's advertised. I mean, you know what you're getting. It's a revvy engine, but it's a pretty good engine. It's bulletproof, isn't it? It's been around for 10 plus years. The riding position is really comfortable. The tech is really good. We've gone all over that. Yeah, don't let the naysayers put you off this bike. It's a really good adventure bike. It's a really good all-rounder, and on that point I'm going to end the video and say thanks for watching. I've had a blast. I hope you've learned some stuff too, and you give this bike a chance. Anyway, see you in the next video. Oh, don't forget to subscribe and do all that liking, commenting things as well. Helps the channel grow. Got my bike noisy.